Hello, this is Brandykins, and welcome to another episode of the Terrorific Talk podcast. This is episode 12. In this episode, I speak with Tim Cowles, Lynda Cowles, and Klemens Koehring about the aftermath of the Shapeshifting Detective and what is next for them. This was a live interview recorded on twitch.tv/Brandykins, so sit back, relax, enjoy, and stay terrific, everyone. Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Terrorific Talk, and another awesome episode, episode 12. I have 3 guests who are involved in some way, shape, or form with the full motion video game that came out last month. Can't believe it's already been a month now. Whoa, the Shapeshifting Detective. So I have Tim Cowles, Lynda Cowles, and Klemens Koehring. I always get really about pronunciation names, I don't want to piss people off. No problem. So I got it right. Okay, yay! So, yeah. Okay. Kinda. Okay. Okay. All right. So,
with pairing.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good way to remember it. All right. So I will remember it that way. So thank you all so very much for taking time out of your evening to come on the podcast and talk some stuff about Shapeshifting Detective with me. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yep. Good. Yep. And Tim's, in case that you all haven't known, Tim has already been on once before when the game wasn't released yet. And now here he is for some strange reason, just back again. Who knew? Who knew?
You asked, so I have to.
So, yeah, it's just I sent him a threatening message saying, look, be on my podcast or else. No, it was actually a really nice conversation. I said, will you please come on again? And he was like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a kind of before and after. You were there before the game. Oh, that was before the game was released last time you were on. Right, yeah. So, and now it's been a month, so...
That's probably long enough, actually.
Yeah.
It's peaked and gone. The month. That's how they.
I hope people will still be talking about the game for many months to come.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, we already got some highs and hellos coming in from Tayana Studios and Lacey Finley.
Hello.
Hi. Hope that you guys are doing well. Oh right.
FNB people.
Yeah. Yep, FNB people, yes. FNB love forever.
We try.
Yeah, we try. Yep, hashtag FNB love. Yes. Yes. So we'll gush about FNB definitely further into the podcast. But last time I blabbed on and I introduced everybody, but this time I'm going to turn the honors over to you all individually to introduce yourself. So first we're going to start with Tim. So Tim, introduce yourself, talk about what you do and why you're so awesome.
Keep it short.
Yeah, I'm Tim. I'm one half of DEKKER Studios. We make murder mystery games and FMV games. And it's probably really awesome because I do it with my partner Lynda.
Yeah, that's not fair.
And I've just passed the baton over for you.
Thank you.
It's just kind of... Yeah. All right.
I'm Lynda. I'm the other half of DEKKER Studios, and I make murder mystery games and FMV games.
They're awesome because...
And they're awesome because Klemens is in.
Oh,
nice kind of handoff of the baton there.
I think in FMV games, there's so many things that are awesome, and especially in your guys' games. But I'm Klemens. I'm Poe in the Shapeshifting Detective, I'm an actor based in London. Been an actor for 12 years. Around about 12 years. I've been very fortunate to be working with Tim and Lynda on Shapeshifting Detective. I mean, it was a lovely experience to work with them on the game, and it's been such a good, wonderful response as well. So I'm chuffed about the response to the game.
Yeah,
and Klemens is a genuinely nice guy. He doesn't just turn it on for Skype. Like before you turn it on, he's like, I hate you all. I hate you alive.
Yeah.
After the interview.
Yeah, he actually was like that, saying, I hate everybody, everything. Oh, hi, everybody. It's nice to be here. Is it a coincidence that Poe was named after Edgar Allan Poe? Is that just like the coincidence going on there? Or is it just like, something you discovered after the fact, like, oh.
No.
No, because the actual character's name's John Pope, but he's obviously very enthusiastic about Edgar Allan Poe. And I think the idea was that Munro is the one who convinces Poe to be with her on the show, and to call it Dark Nights with Poe and Munro. That's the kind of obviously Pope and Poe are very, very close, but it kind of makes sense to then call the show Poe and Munro because of the kind of gothic atmosphere that the radio show is kind of trying to convey.
Yeah, I definitely remember just like listening to your voice and Leah's voice. I was just like, dang, now those are radio voices. I could just listen to those 24/7.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If we did a 24-hour Poe and Munro, I think you'd be sick of us. You'd be like, oh, I can't stand those voices anymore.
I can't stand those people anymore. Click. Just like, no, really, the only voice I got sick of on the radio, like, was my own. Because, whatever.
A lot of actors go through that.
Because...
and stand themselves, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, you get sick of hearing yourself talk. You just, like, want to hear other people talk.
Plus, the randomizer routine didn't work that well, so you probably heard yourself a lot. And then Chris Jones came up once for a 4-hour playthrough.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened there, but yeah.
Yeah, one time I heard myself a lot, and another time I heard like Adam Day a lot. And then
one that it really likes goes for it.
Yeah, and then
it is randomized, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely is. We haven't put it in any particular order. It's just because it's random. It doesn't. In DEKKER, when we randomised things, we actually took everyone and put it in a sequence. So you got one of each, and then it would pick the sequence again. For Shapeshift, it just went through the pool and then picked one at random and then started again. So you could effectively, if you were really unlucky, get the same one over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's hopefully it wasn't that bad for anybody. I mean, that's just in terms of murdering people. The same murder and over again, which again was randomised in the same way.
It's like I ended up getting the same murderer twice, like on both like full playthroughs. It's just like, oh wow, this person must really hate me because now they want to kill me again.
It just makes it look like when he did one, but there were more.
Yeah, so how many total murderers ended up being in the game overall? Like potential murderers?
3. There are 3 potential
Spoiler
murderers.
alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Like, I'm still like trying to be like, I don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't played it yet because yes, it has come out. So I'm trying to like just skirt around the fact that this person's a murderer and then that person's a murderer and then that person's the murderer.
It's good for people. It's actually good for people to know that there's more than one because in advance before doing their first playthrough because it gives you an incentive to do it again, to try the game again, to know that there's more endings is nice as well. From
and even if you get the same, even if the murder is the same, you can accuse them and like you get one ending, or if you pick the wrong person, you get a very different ending, and then there's other choices you can make in that. So there's still a lot to find, even if you get the same murderer. Yeah,
definite incentive and replayability value in that game. I suck as a detective apparently because I accused the wrong person twice, and I almost died twice.
Did you? Okay. Did you go through the whole list of telling the chief that it was like the chief, it was you? Did you pick all the bad ones?
When you use people.
I was going to do it like in this playthrough that I was just like recently doing, but that would be so funny to just like completely accuse just like the chief, even though like
there's lots of Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
We specifically thought people would, it wouldn't look.
And it doesn't mess up your playthrough.
It doesn't mess up your playthrough.
You can just do it for fun. Yeah.
You can keep going.
It's a fun thing to do in games, isn't it? To try every possibility.
Yeah.
Push all the buttons.
Just even though that it may be something that you wouldn't actually do as a person in real life, hey, it's a game. Why not try like the out there choices?
Oh, exactly. That's a great thing about games in general. It's this escapism. You can get away with everything.
Yeah. Speaking of, I had the honor, ladies and gentlemen, of being punched in the face by Poe. Yeah. So
yeah, and it's even a Steam achievement, or Steam and PlayStation. I think you can get the achievement if you get there, but not everyone has experienced that as a game. But yeah,
yeah, Potent, I think is the name of that achievement. It's just like. Yeah, like, I was justified for being punched in the face, like, in that game. Like, I won't, like, give away why, but yeah, it was justified.
So for anyone out there who hasn't played the game, if you haven't yet, I mean, that's one of the highlights. Play. Yes, play Shapeshifting Detective and get punched in the face by Poe.
No.
Did you, Brandon? Did you get married, or didn't you?
I did get married, and it's just like in a sense, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cute, and then on the other hand, it's like, oh my god, I am a horrible person. This Poe's got a wife and kids, and like he's just wanted to like, goodbye.
That's why I love this character, because it's both ends of the spectrum that Lynda and Tim got me to do. I could be really nice and really cruel as well.
Yeah, so just like, I didn't know how to feel about that.
I think a lot of people chose that. Yeah, I think more people probably said yes and no, because it's more fun destroying other people's lives like that, isn't it? Just making those big decisions for them without them being there.
You don't have to clear up the mess in the morning. That's someone else's problem. So.
Yeah, that is true. It is somebody else's problem. It's not my own. All right. Someone has a question in chat. Was the Infectious Madness... Okay, so we're going to Dr. Dekker. Was the Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker the first game you wrote for, or were there other projects before then? So I guess this is directed to Tim and Lynda.
It was our first video game. We've written a lot of murder mystery dinner party games, which is sort of our bread and butter business, as it were. But we've wanted to make a full motion video game for a while. So yeah, Dr. Dekker was the first one.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we've been running since 2004, so that's when we started writing murder mystery games, and we've been just cranking those out like nobody's business. Actually, I think we've probably done about 30-40 titles now. Yeah. But the FMV video games, those two that actually got published. I mean, I did dabble over the years with a few different types of computer games that never got released, but yeah, that's the first real ones.
That, for Dr. Dekker being the first full motion video game that you've made, dang. I find that hard to believe.
We almost got away with it, didn't we?
I think, well, we're big fans, big FMV fans, so really we were just doing what we loved and copying some of the things that we loved. It was pretty easy if you like the genre, and you know, we just followed.
Yeah, and also we made the game that we wanted to make, didn't we? As in, we made a game that we wanted to play.
And we apologise for anybody that couldn't use the parser.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but we liked it when we came up with it. We thought it was brilliant, but it obviously didn't turn out as well for a lot of people. But Really, again, still, if somebody could do an FMV game with a brilliant parser that recognised everybody's input,
Faultless parser.
faultless, yeah, exactly. Basically, I think we just need to hire actors to interpret all the input and then just respond. Basically, it just needs to be real life. Yeah.
Let's do it live, yeah. I'll do it for you guys, not for anyone else.
I'm going to sign up for the next 2 years. He's going to do live FMVing.
That works.
Live FMV, now that would be a new experiment there.
That would be a good idea. Yeah. It'd be like an art installation, but you have to charge by the hour, Klemens.
Oh,
yes. That'd be funny.
Well, maybe by the minute.
Yes. Do you want to continue seeing Klemens in this live full motion video experience? Then please insert $4.99 for the
Kickstarter campaign.
So, Klemens, what drew you to this full motion video game experience extravaganza? Because you're definitely no stranger to voiceover work or video game voiceover work, because I got a chance to look at your CV, like as it were, and very long list of games that you've done voiceover work for. Very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been passionate about the video games and the video games industry, and with full motion, the cool thing is it combines, and I'm also a screen actor, so the cool thing about full motion is that it combines screen acting and voiceovers, and I was obviously very fortunate that I got to do both in the Shapeshifting Detective. But when I saw the casting call for this game, I was very intrigued by of course, by the reference to Edgar Allan Poe, because I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe enthusiast, and by the fact that it was an opportunity to be in a full motion video game, because had done voiceovers for video games, and I've been on screen in films and so on, and this was an opportunity to combine both genre in one. So that was certainly something that drew me to it. And of course, the once I knew what the character was all about, it seemed like a cool character to play.
Yeah, he was just a really cool character. Ended up being one of my favorites, just in spite of the whole mess that, the whole kind of gray area kind of thing there. And
you want gray areas. In games or in any kind of fiction, and you want to kind of not always have kind of binary choices or binary characters. You want to have be surprised sometimes what characters can do, and and how deep they can be.
Right, you don't want a character that's just like a one-dimensional piece of cardboard, because then you wouldn't be as invested in their motivations, their backstories, etc., etc.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
They're harder, aren't they? They're harder to act. It's got to be harder to act if
there's not enough there.
If it's more 2D, you got nothing to work off of. Whereas Poe definitely. Yeah, he has many surprises in a very short period, doesn't he? It's gone.
Yeah, first...
One thing that is quite ironic about playing Poe was that obviously I got to play the character knowing that it would be an FMV, and then Tim and Lynda got me, oh look, here's this and we filmed the live action scenes, and that is, oh, here's this script for all the voiceover stuff, which was a great surprise, because I was mainly thinking, oh, I've voiced characters in games, but here's a chance to be on screen in a game. That is like, oh, it's actually quite a it's more a voiceover part, which is a cool surprise as well, because I was like, okay, I get to do all these voiceover bits, but
you're throughout the game. So
I know.
Poe only comes in at the end. You're one of the first. Well, it is your voice, isn't it, that starts the game, opens the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite all the different ways of playing the game. It's always got to be my voice.
Yeah.
Can't get away from that.
Yeah, no matter how hard you try. Someone in chat said, "It's Poe! You're famous."
Oh, thank you. Edgar Allan Poe.
No, forget him.
Yeah, like who's this guy? Like, I don't know this guy. Okay, so it looks like we got another question here. I'm just like kind of interspersing questions like within as they come. So looks like this is directed to Tim. So Tim, you've directed TV, movies, video games, and video shorts. Which did you enjoy directing the most?
The FMV games, I think. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the film wasn't the most fun I've ever had. That was a little while ago. I kind of more had to get over that before I could start filming again. But the FMVs, and they were different as well. So DEKKER was totally different to filming Shapeshift, because we got to move around a little bit more for Shapeshift, and there were more locations and things. So Shapeshift was definitely a lot more fun, and hopefully next time it's going to be even more fun. Well, for me anyway. Yeah, I mean, hopefully for everyone who plays it as well. But yeah, hopefully we'll have more, again, good locations, more kind of action. It's something we want to do. We definitely want to get more action into it, don't we? But it costs more money to film action. That's and also people like the stories, and that drives a lot of content. So then you end up with 5 hours, 7 hours of FMV of people driving the story forward. So we'll just have to see how it goes on the on the edit, whether it's going to be an interesting game after,
So your answer to the question was?
So my answer was, yeah, definitely FMV. Go and do FMV. Actually, you know what, as well? I did some TV directing, so live TV directing of interviews, and that was like multi-camera kind of chat show, and that was a lot of fun as well, because you get the kind of you get a bit of a sight going as you've got to cut in with the adverts and stuff on live TV. So that was quite fun, and you get to push all the camera people around and go, "Get me a close up on it's brilliant." And you get to call the shots, and you got the vision mixer, so cut to 1, cut to 2. So that's cool as well. But obviously with the FMV stuff and the film stuff, you get to do as many takes as you want.
Right. I can imagine like you pushing people around, be like, "Get out of my way."
I don't actually. I only kind of see things like, let's do that again so that you look better, or.
But that's the thing. If Tim had ever pushed anyone around in TV directing, then it's certainly he's completely changed. Because when he direct as an actor, he's one of the friendliest directors I've ever worked with. He's so polite, I guess, and it made it a lot easier. The fact that he was,
Some actors have said Tim puts the directing though, because he doesn't beat around the bush when it comes to saying, yeah, no, let's do that again.
Yes, but he doesn't do it in a kind of
we can do better.
He's always kind of explaining why as well, which was really helpful. Why we're doing different takes of the same line, so that helps the process of kind of getting the character right when you kind of know why you're meant to do it slightly differently in the next take.
Yeah. Hashtag director, as you.
Yeah. Hashtag
going, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it. Yeah. It doesn't really help, does it?
Right. So like knowing just like the motivation and the why just behind not only the character but then the director's vision for that character.
Well, also, I mean, with Klemens, you were talking about shot choices as well, weren't you? Because when we were doing the whole scene that I shouldn't mention that we talked about earlier, but we don't want to give any spoilers away. I had to say to Clem, then you're going to kneel into the camera, and we've got this kneel into the camera. What was that? And I was saying to you, wasn't I? How are we going to cut them together and all that stuff?
Those technical things, because often as an actor, you're not even meant to know exactly how the director and editor, how they're going to put everything together. So it kind of it's just something you just have to accept, certain technical ways of doing a scene. So all you can often do as an actor is just to prepare to be the character, and then the director will be there knowing, and Tim knew exactly what he wanted. So it's that's the kind of thing. You just film those things, and you accept that there's certain technical things you have to just do the way you're told.
Do as you're told.
Yeah. Yeah.
Told.
Yeah. Do as you're told. Do this. Do that. Do it again. But why? Because I said so.
Because I wasn't pressing record last time. That's the truth.
Okay, like a tangent.
It's the subtext.
Yeah.
You never say that. It's like you find other ways of explaining, but yeah.
Yeah, tangent. Have you ever, Tim, forgotten to press the record button on a camera?
No, never.
Yeah, loads of times. Loads. Just loads of times. And there's more than one record button when you've got external recorders going off. So there's just multiple record buttons. Sometimes one media has saved me. So that's why let's do two at a time.
Oh, good. So you have a camera, then you have the backup camera, then you have the backup camera to that backup camera.
Yeah, it's an external hard drive recorder that gets it. But yeah, you get on in camera as well. But definitely, even in Shapeshift, there might have been a situation where I needed to use one because I didn't quite get it on the other one. In fact, we lost some audio with Bronwyn. We lost some audio when she opened the door, and we could only recover it from the in-camera footage because I think the cable had probably got it pulled between the camera and the external recorder. Okay. That's what I'm going to say anyway. It's my excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, so speaking of this full motion video game experience extravaganza, it has been a little bit over a month since the game has been released. So this is a general question to just like everybody here. So what has it been like seeing people's reactions to the game, whether they've just played it to play it, whether they've live streamed it? So what's been your reactions to people's reactions?
I mean, it's been really, really good. Better than we expected. People have had a lot of fun with it, and especially people replaying it like multiple times, and trying to find all the stuff. I mean, we know that people play FMV. When they play FMV, they want to find as many videos as they can. But yeah, there's been a lot of really good feedback on Twitter and forums and things, and yeah, so that's been really, really nice because it's nice to see people having fun, which is like our main driving motivation, isn't it? We want people to really have fun playing it. So that's. Plus,
it was our second game, so it could be everyone that DEKKER was, did okay because it just, it was a fluke, it was a one-off. So it was actually.
The sequel's never as good.
We were slightly nervous at the beginning because The Quiet Man had just come out, and that had some strips torn off it. The Quiet Man, another FMV. So we saw that getting ripped apart just before our release.
A few days before.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Let's hope we're okay.
We'll just be over here.
Yeah. So, and considering it's so different to DEKKER in terms of there's no text interface, it's a bit more like an interactive film, Shapeshift. There was a chance that people could revolt. That our player base would go, oh, we hate it, but it's been really well received.
There's been people who say, I enjoyed it, but I still prefer DEKKER. It's got, DEKKER's got perhaps more depth in the story, and Shapeshift's got more variety in the story, or more different paths you can take. And they are very different experiences. But we didn't want to make the same game. We didn't want to just remake DEKKER or.
And some
DEKKER
people
2.
like Shapeshift more.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good. It's really good. I don't know.
I think there are also people who played Shapeshifting Detective and hadn't played DEKKER, and now they're playing DEKKER because they want to explore what else you guys have done. So that helps as well. And of course, it helps that it's been released on so many different platforms. That people that you're reaching a lot of people with it by having it released on so many different platforms.
Yeah, and all at the same time. So.
Which we wouldn't have done, would we? I mean, that is basically what Wales Interactive bring to the party for us. Is they do the they do the console stuff. So it's just there's a lot of black magic and voodoo goes on with console releases, and lots of different code bases to keep up to date. So while we're happy to do PC versions of things, the consoles, we still thank them muchly for spreading the word on the consoles. Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely, because FMV used to be just like specifically a PC genre of gaming and was just strictly regulated to that. So it's really cool to see FMV now kind of making the jump to the consoles and the Switch, and it's very exciting time for FMV.
And be so well received on those platforms, because it's not the game, like you say, it's not typically the type of game you expect to see on there. But I mean, a lot of console players have embraced FMV, and
and that's mainly, again, that's WoW's interactive,
Shapeshift
isn't
in the
it?
Bunker, and
Because things like Her Story, which obviously are a really big success, but have not come to console, presumably because of the text interface stuff.
Yeah, I could see where that might be a little bit difficult to translate to console, especially when all you have to work with is a controller.
Yeah, I mean, in DEKKER, we put in pre-formatted questions so that it could move quickly to console. But you wouldn't really want to do that with something like Her Story, since, for people that play Her Story, they'll understand,
Okay, so we got also some more comments and questions in chat. So comment, it is interesting how much you can uncover about the characters in Shapeshifting Detective by picking different conversation options. Between 3 playthroughs, I've seen different angles of characters, and I feel like I still haven't uncovered everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was worth filming them all then. That's good. That's what, Yes.
And Tayana Studios asks a question, how did you manage the branching of this when writing? I think they're talking about the different kind of branching paths and options in the game. That's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
It was very hard. This was a lot harder to write than DEKKER, wasn't it? And DEKKER had some branching in it, but this just got very complicated very quickly, and especially with the shape-shifting in it as well. And every time you introduced a new character, and then you wanted to go and talk to them as all the other characters. How did we manage the branching?
We managed the branching by using Ink. It's it's kind of an open source language called Ink, and it's .ink. You can actually search for it, and there's an editor that you can use as well. And essentially, it's like choose your own adventure fiction, and Ink itself will compile into like an interactive fiction HTML page even. And it's what we have to get our heads around the formatting, because it's a bit like programming. So that most of Shapeshift, a lot of the work's gone into the actual Ink to do with the branching, and you actually have variables and stuff even in Ink that we check. The actual front end of Shapeshift, as it were, the Unity part, is like a big video player that eats up the Ink, and the Ink file itself is like the database that's got all the stuff in it. But it isn't that complicated. If you can have a search for it, and people release interactive fiction the whole time, and the people who did Ink, I think I want to say Steve Jackson or Ian Livingston, the old fighting fantasy thing, like things like Sorcery. There's apps on the App Store where they took those fighting fantasy books and they put them into apps called Sorcery 2. They use Ink as their kind of their back end. I think that's where it's come from. But for anybody, who wants to write interactive fiction easily, I'd use Ink probably. You might start thinking, Word or Pages or Google Drive, whatever is the way to go. But in terms of trying to keep it all together,
managing the branches,
it would get really, really hard.
Keeping the threads.
There's
also the Twine as well. Twinery. There's quite a lot of interactive fiction tools, but we chose Ink because it already had a library that worked with Unity.
Yeah, I thought at first you were talking about we used Ink, like you used a pen, you used a pen and you started writing stuff down. It's just
smart. No,
that was the early FMVs. That's how that is.
Quill.
Quill and Ink. Yes, back in the time of long ago.
Writing the first slow motion video.
To be or not to be, now choose.
Yeah, Yeah, to be.
Just imagine Shakespeare writing an FMV. What would that
Yeah.
be?
Yeah, to be.
It's a lot of dialogue, I
Yeah.
reckon.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dialogue.
But you could get a happier ending to a lot of them, so that would be good.
Really?
Oh yeah, you have different endings.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something
Well,
Shakespeare never thought of.
Well, Death by
Hamlet
Poison.
Part 2, the different ending.
Yeah, one audience would choose like to be, and then they'd get a different ending. One audience would choose not to be, and they would get a completely different ending. Revolutionary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got a murder mystery game called A Very Shakespearean Murder, and we think it's written really, really well.
Oh
But it doesn't
wow.
seem just to love it. They don't love the Shakespeare anymore, so I'm not sure we'd get away with it as an FMV.
It's one of my favourite games of ours. There's characters written in iambic pentameter. There's lots of Shakespearean references, and
Not easy.
It's a bawdy bardy romp. It's very humorous. And,
Yeah, but it's shifted about 200 units.
and quite a lot of Blackadder as well.
Yeah, and quite a bit of Blackadder.
I like Shakespeare.
Everybody likes Shakespeare. They just want to spend hours with it in FMV. I think that's probably what it is. But
I probably would because I'm a nerd.
Okay. For Brandykins.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, just make.
Nerd is the new cool.
Yeah, just make the game only for me, just release it only for me, and then I'm the only one that will have like the only copy of it. Then I could like hold it over people's heads. Neener, neener, neener.
Can I play? No.
got another job, Klemens?
That one, yeah.
There you go. So, Klemens, what has been your reactions to people's reactions about your character? Of course, you know my reaction. I love him. But that's just one reaction. So what's been your reactions to reactions?
Well, I mean, I'm just thrilled with all the passion. I mean, that's something in the games industry that is just so refreshing as an actor, because often you don't get any feedback for the work you do. But with games, it's just so many people, because they're so immersed in the game, that you get a lot of reactions. But it's been very positive. I'm just really very happy with the way people have reacted to the game and to the show as well. And we did a live stream the other day, me and Leah on Twitch to revisit the characters Poe and Munro for the live stream. And so it's been a great response to the radio show, which was a really nice surprise as well, because obviously the radio show is just meant to connect the different chapters, and it's meant to give the atmosphere. So it's nice that people actually listened to what was going on the radio show in the game.
Yeah, of course. I kept it on like the entire time, like going like from place to place to place. Like the only time like I would turn it off is when I was trying to talk to my community, and I kept just getting too distracted by all the awesome voices. Like, okay, shut off. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay, it's coming back on now.
Everyone ends up in the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you could stay with the person and where you were talking, and there was no options. You could stay there. You could go back to your bedroom, but for whatever reason, and we do the same.
Yeah.
You go into the hallway. The radio is going to be blaring away, but everyone goes back to the hallway. It's like because you feel rude staying with somebody when they've stopped talking to you. It's like, okay, I better go.
Yeah.
But also it's just such a unique way of creating. Rather than having a lot of background music or having the background is the radio show, and I think that's something that's quite different to other games. So it's actually you can actually just take a breather from the game, from solving the crime by just leaning back and listening to what's going on in the show.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just glad so many people actually did that, because when I've seen a few people play, do a let's play, and they keep the radio show on.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, Klemens, it just adds to like the overall atmosphere of the game. Like the whole radio. And
also, I mean, when I first saw the videos as well, the radio August bits that tell the story between the chapters or connecting the chapters. I was just amazed how nicely they were done, because I didn't know, because obviously when we were doing the voiceovers, me and Leah, for those bits, we didn't know how they would be implemented into the game, and it's quite psychedelic, and I'm enjoying those videos, the ones that connect the chapters.
So it's been like kind of surreal just to like hear your voice and see yourself like in this game, like whoa.
Yeah, just to see how it's been put into the game, because there's so many ways you could put those radio broadcasts into the game, and those two ways that they've been done with the videos and with the just as a kind of background between walking around in the hallway. That's it's quite a unique way of putting that into a game.
It's great watching streamers play it. It must be, as you know, we love watching streamers play it, because you get feedback from the audience and the people streaming. And for Klemens, you must it must be like watching somebody watching your film at cinema, but you're looking at their face as they're watching you. So you actually get to see all these people react to your performance.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what you don't get that in with the films I've done. Often I don't know how people, when they're watching, how they're reacting.
You can't stalk them.
Sometimes I probably wouldn't want to know.
Well, you shouldn't.
But with something like Shapeshifting Detective, it's been really fascinating to see people to see how they react to it.
Yeah, because like, is that like with movies, you can't just like sneak into the theater where the movie is playing, go ask people, what'd you think of my movie? Did you like me in this movie? Like, but yeah, how did you like it? I hope you liked it. Please like me.
Get out of the way.
I've been to screenings of work I've done, and I just kind of look at what people, what do they, because they obviously no one will comment whilst you watch something on a screen, so you kind of like, are they reacting positively, or I don't know, nodding approval, or like.
We get lots of reviews for that though, so.
But it's with games, it's really cool to really see how people react to the game.
So speaking of reactions, of course, on the flip side, you have, of course, people are going to have negative reactions. That's just like par for the course. So how do you all handle when negative reactions pop up, like about your work or about like acting, like and writing and things like that?
Badly.
Oh.
Just stew over them for days.
I think that's right. We're never doing that again.
That's the first instinctive reaction for most people who likes criticism, and I think it's kind of it is like this with I think it's human nature as well, that people, when you get criticized, it often hits you more than when it's something positive said. It's just kind of part of human nature. I
think one negative review cancels out like 10 good reviews or something.
Yeah.
It sticks with you much more.
So we don't handle it well. I know that some people say that they don't read the comments on their videos or anything. I mean, I spoke to Jesse Cox, and he said that he tried not to read the things on things that he outputs, just in case, he doesn't want to get any, because of negative feedback or anything.
Well, there's different ways of negative feedback you can get. There's the constructive criticism, and that can often be really helpful. I mean, it's helped me in my career, definitely, when people have said something and they made specific detailed comments about things. But when it's just someone who hasn't really played the game properly or seen the film or whatever, then it's always better to perhaps ask them, or perhaps for them to make a more kind of detailed comment about it, and not just a blunt statement about something.
You basically remember the negative ones more.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
DEKKER's got a Steam review, I think, and the review was, doesn't do full screen, thumbs down. I'm like, so you do remember them. But.
The ones that always get me are the Steam reviews that are thumbs down and they've played like 0.1 hours, and you're like, well, you didn't even give it a chance. You haven't even seen the game.
Yeah, but having said all
But I
that,
think if it's Shapeshifting Detective and it's 0.1 hours, then I take the blame because they would have
It's just that.
as soon as it got to your bit.
they'd be like,
Yeah.
no, don't want to hear more of that.
But you need to read the negative reviews and things. We need to read them because there could be genuine concerns, criticism in there, and as the game developers, designers, you need to think, okay, maybe we shouldn't press that as much as the next one, things like that. Whereas good review, people that are really happy with it, it's great because they're happy with the stuff you hope they were going to be happy with normally. But
if you just limit yourself to those, then you just float around and you say, oh, everything we do is great. So,
yeah, I mean, Wales Interactive, when I spoke to them, they said they look at the negative reviews more because they see what needs to be improved about the game or any game that they're looking at or their own game. So there's a lot of sense in that. I know it would be nice to kind of shield yourself from all of it. And you do have to wade through a lot of the negative stuff, which perhaps isn't that justified. But
at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of the negative reviews we get, or people don't like the game. People don't like all the same games.
Right.
I've played a lot of games and I've played them for half an hour and I'm like, no, I'd rather be playing something else. And it's the same for everyone. So you can't be upset if people don't like your game. It's just not their type of game.
Have you ever stopped watching a film? Have you ever started watching a film and then stopped watching it?
Yes, but
Yeah, definitely.
but more.
We never used to.
Sometimes films that I've been in.
Like, ew, I don't like this guy. Pause.
But I think, but I would say with gamers, they're more overall more patient than people who watch TV, because in TV it's more like, oh, you go to the next channel, but with games you intrinsically need to put more effort into it, so you give it a chance. Of course, some people don't, but I mean overall, I've noticed with gamers, because they're passionate about the medium, they give it a try.
Again, from the retail side of things, from the murder mystery games, it can also be that it's been marketed wrong. Yeah, that the gamers are coming in expecting an experience, and they're not getting the one they expected because the marketing is the word, whatever it is that's drawn them in, they didn't get what they were expecting. So it's not always just about the game. Even it could be that it was that we said that Dr. Dekker was a live interactive Skype experience, and it turned out it wasn't. It was a database of words. But we never said that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah.
There could be Dekker, the live Skype experience.
Dekker live Skype experience.
Yeah, video therapy.
Live.
This time it's live.
Therapy.
So I remember what intrigued me the most just about Dr. Dekker was the fact that FMV. That's what sold me just like right off the bat, is because I've always loved FMV. But I guess the fact how it was just like in one location, and that you were able to just work the hell out of that one location, that is very impressive to me.
Well, it went with a theme, didn't it? It was all kind of constrictive, and you couldn't really move around. It was all, closed in on you, basically.
I mean, that was a deliberate choice.
Plus budget.
Yeah, it was a convenient choice for budget.
Yeah.
But we did discuss whether we wanted to use other locations and other scenes, and but it worked well with the, you're in the office with these patients, and you're stuck there, and you need to get to the bottom of their problems, and you can't just escape. So
we try to fit the story to the budget where we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Often with budget restraints, often it makes you more creative.
Yes.
In general, this applies to a lot of media. Is that when you know, oh, this is these are the limitations. Often it's like, okay, sometimes the creative mind goes on overdrive and gets a lot of things done. It helps sometimes.
Yeah.
Necessity is the mother of all invention. That's what they say.
Yep, that's how the saying goes. And I also remember, Shapeshifting Detective. I also it was couple settings. So you had the guest house, then you had the chief's office, then you had Monroe's house, and then and then the
Oscar's house.
Yep, and then the radio studio.
And the photography studio.
That's right. Yeah.
So the guest house. Yeah.
So I don't math. So I lost track of like how many different locations are there.
Many.
Yeah, many. Yeah, many locations.
Or as one reviewer pointed out, not enough.
Not enough. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Are your locations half empty or half full? Yeah.
I guess it just goes to show you can't please everybody.
There
were quite a few locations that time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to harp on about reviews as well, but in a lot of reviews for both games, you will get people say, I love this about the game, and the exact same thing people say, I hated that about the game. So in terms of feedback, it's like, well, yeah, we please some people with that and not others. But is that, you know, one thing appeals to
people are
some
different. It's just people are very different. I mean, that's what makes the world interesting as well. You know, you don't want everyone to have the same opinion about everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like they always have different strokes for different folks. Some are going to really like FMV games, others are going to really hate them. But I guess the reviews that kind of puzzle me are people that know they hate FMV games and they go into and played FMV games saying, I hated it. It's just like, then why did you play it if you don't like the genre? Do you think it's going to be like anything different than like what you hate?
Well, we could turn them.
Yeah.
We could turn them.
Maybe you could convert them to the dark side or the not so dark side of FMV.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like we got a couple more questions now. It says, question, was that you, Tim, driving the taxi? And would you both consider acting in future games? Oh.
You don't want to see me act.
That was me. I did drive the taxi. Yeah, I did. All legally done. Do you know? And also, we thought at the end, and we made this up after I did it, that the director has directed you through the game as well, in the taxi.
Ah, okay. That's clever.
Oh.
And in fact, that was our test footage. Spoiler alert.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
What?
I still shot about 50 minutes of it, and I thought I'd go out and test this to see if it's going to work. And then when it came back and we started editing it, we said, why are we going to get someone else? Like as well, we need to get an actor in and say, we need the back of your head. Is that okay? That's what you're going to get.
Drive around.
Yeah, 50 minutes of the back of your head.
Yeah.
Drive around.
Some actors specialize in that.
But it's just this
Instead
half
of
of
a headshot like this, they just have the back of their
You
head.
send headshot to the back of your head.
Yeah.
just your left ear.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, why get an actor for the back of like a head? We could use just like Tim's head.
Yeah, no, when the test footage came back, we thought it actually works. That's fine. You know, it's good. I think we got that. But
Yeah, like, hey, why not, right? The footage is already there. You may as well not let it go to waste.
I mean, Lynda studied drama.
Drama and theatre studies. And I feel like I might have been okay at acting once, but whenever we do test things for FMVs for DEKKER and something, and Tim's like, oh, I want to test this shot, and we'll get you set up and everything, and you just, you read, you be Mariana or whatever, and
that's when I walk off. I just like throw things down.
Yeah, can you do it?
That's rubbish. Honestly, you've ruined the whole thing.
Storm off, director storm off. I can't wait.
That's when Tim gets up on his team, and then when us actors come in,
Yeah. That's why he's so relieved to see you, because he's happy.
I think we'd only consider it if we couldn't afford actors.
And then we should probably try something else.
Yeah, so like, sorry, we'll have to pay you in cheese. Or like something like
biscuits.
Yeah.
That's our favoured currency.
Yeah, we'll pay you in sweets.
Leah works for biscuits.
Yep.
And
I can vouch for that.
Oh, sorry, Leah.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't go past this podcast.
Well, we were all there at the audio recordings. Klemens knows how much extra footage we've got that we didn't use, that we couldn't use.
Ooh.
Lots of outtakes.
Lots of outtakes, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you just sneak some of the food home in your pocket. Just be like, what are you doing? Cheese in your pocket. shut up.
We do send actors home with food sometimes.
They have a long journey home.
Yeah. John Guyler went home with Yorkshire tea bags. Yeah, when he did DEKKER.
Yorkshire man.
There you go. Take some tea bags with you.
They've got a train journey home, so like, do you want to take some snacks with you?
Aww.
Take us for them.
Keep your actors alive.
Yeah.
They're always, Tim and them always very generous with everything on set. It's always a nice set, lovely set.
I'm not sure how it compares. Our catering compares with other
BBC.
sets. You get a lot of sandwiches on our sets.
Mind you, on some sets,
it's a home atmosphere. That's your set is your home, so it's very kind of, it's got this homely atmosphere.
Hey.
And drinks, yeah. So.
Yeah, I like working on that set. My goodness. Food and drinks, I'm there.
Yeah, well, like I said, we've got to keep them alive. It's rule number 1. If they're dead, they can't act. Well, they can, but only for one role.
Unless it's like Weekend at Bernie's or something like that.
Yeah. We've got another corpse. Write it in.
Yeah, just like have someone behind him, like, oh god, that's terrible. No, I'm not gonna even like go down like that route. Hey, Klemens, do you have any interesting stories to share? Any interesting times that you had while working, like, or playing the character of Poe on the Shapeshifting Detective?
Yeah, something I mentioned earlier is just the great surprise was when we had done the live action scenes, that there was so much more to come. I mean, we did a lot. We did the whole improv with Leah. I mean, that was so much fun to do with the Dreams and Nightmares and the Poe's Curiosity Shop, and that was of course Tim had sent me a bit of an outline of what we were going to do, but there's a lot that on the day we were just here's all these objects, and now in this, in the Poe's Curiosity Shop is, Poe, I bring in the these objects, and Leah has to describe what it is, and it turned out really, I mean, it lots of
quite rude
things, and obviously not a lot of people will get a chance to listen to it in game because it's just one of those segments. But we put a lot of work into that. Maybe I put more work into that than the live bit. But it was such a diverse topics in this game. Both the fact that I'm the character on screen, and then also the fact that we did all these little extra bits for the radio show. That was just a lot of fun to do. That I didn't necessarily know. I didn't actually know when I was cast that there would be so much radio stuff going on.
And we actually ran out of time for the improv stuff, so we would have liked to do much more of that. But
how did we run out of time?
How did we?
But I think then there would have been less time for the stories, for the short stories to be broadcast in game. So it's I think it's a nice balance to have the the radio show, those segments, and have the stories narrated as well.
Yeah, you get the mix.
The ad-lib, though, honestly, there was a lot of editing that needed to be done. Not because ad-lib was bad, it's just the joke that went on in between the sentences sometimes. Just there's a lot of innuendo, I think, that Leah was picking up on anyway. It's kind of so great chunks were being edited out.
Because it's all improv, it's difficult to remember all those bits. It's like it's just, but yeah, we laughed a lot.
If you ever need cheering up, Klemens, I'll send them, because it is ridiculous. But it's funny. It's really funny.
One of my dark moments that I got to.
Alright, so where did the idea like the radio come about? Because usually in FMVs, characters are moving from place to place either through a map, or it's mainly through a map, and the map has this weird kind of 16-bit music like going on, like so like where did the idea like the radio and having the whole Poe and Munro show and the stories read by other people, where did those ideas like come about? I am so interested to know.
It developed bit by bit, really, because when we were sort of developing the game, the earliest thing was, well, we don't really want to have a map screen. What can we do instead of having a map screen to get you from A to B? And we said about having a cab or an Uber to drive you around. And then from that, you know, what's going to happen when you're in the cab? What can you have going on there? So have the radio station. What are we going to have on the radio station? Let's try and create some atmosphere. Have some stories, and we came up with the idea then of perhaps we could ask for stories, and perhaps we could ask people to read the stories, and get some of our friends on the radio. But yeah, it developed over the writing process, and Poe and Munro came about as well, just who's going to be on the radio. I mean, what? Yeah.
We were going to. We knew we needed to kill somebody.
Kill someone off. Yeah.
And we thought it'd be good to use Munro basically.
Because there's this person you've been listening to all along.
It was meant to be a surprise, but because she's in the trailer, and so, it's not as big a surprise if you watch the trailer. But if you play the game from the beginning, obviously you just hear the voices and that's it. So you think that we've just hired voiceover, you know, that they're just part of the world
it's Just the radio,
it's just kind of the radio, and you're never going to meet them. So it's kind of, it would have been cool if we'd kept out the trailer, but we had to keep those cool bits in. But the radio was originally only going to be in the cab. It wasn't actually going to be in the house, and then we added it to the house kind of fairly late, just to keep it going. But with these games, we and DEKKER, we started off with what's the core element, how we're going to play it, what's going to be fun about it, and then we say, what if that isn't fun? How do we make it more interesting? How can we make it more fun? So you start with the core thing that you want to do, and then you say things like, then you have like a few jump scares like we did in DEKKER, or let's have the notes, and then the notes are going to get written in for you, and then the extra little bits come in kind of after that. But we knew we weren't going to have a map screen from the beginning. We knew that wasn't going to happen. And Poe and Munro were quite early on, I think, because they, you know, in the process of it, trying to work out who was going to be on the radio. Because again, not saying it was for budgetary constraints, but you know, we were going to need to hire actors to do a lot of the radio content, which Klemens and Lynda did. So we definitely needed a good pairing. We were also looking for people that we could, like Poe and Munro, we thought we potentially targets to project forward into our next FMV, because they're going to make a coupling in this game, which is
see, that's why I'm drinking from this.
So yeah, they were.
You're just doing it for the mugs.
It was a bit more than just.
I need another mug.
Yeah.
Free mugs. I'm in.
But the thing as well about the radio broadcast, the thing is with it serves as a linking device between the chapters, and the stuff we talk about in those broadcasts is also about the town, and it gives it more life, doesn't it? I mean, it kind of adds for people to not just see these different characters, but to give the setting some more life as well. Make it real, because we talk about the weather in August, and we talk about the people in August. So it just makes it more real when you play the game, that you actually in this town, and there's people with real lives, and the actions of people in the game have consequences beyond just that world that you're in, but also to the wider town and the wider world.
Yeah, it gives it a bigger context and a sense of place.
I like it. Yeah. I like Poe's bit when he says that, you know, about Munro, if you can hear me. You know, I always thought that's really cool in the linking stuff.
Reaching out, yes.
Yeah, it's like, it does make it feel alive, like it's all happening in that time frame. Yeah, it's one of my faves.
And you know, when we did that, I mean, I just felt it makes Poe more human as well, to have to show these feelings on radio as well, just to show that side to the character, because obviously a lot of other stuff's meant to be quite creepy.
Well, showmanship, isn't it?
Yeah.
The hosting. Yeah.
Right, exactly, and I do agree. Like with that. with that, Klemens, about the fact how Poe says, like, reaching out to Munro makes him more human because they've been working together for 2 years. They're friends, or depending on the choice that your character makes in the game, like, depending on that choice, like, but it would make sense for him to be like, if you're out there, like, please, like, I hope you're okay.
Well, and and radio is a good medium to reach out to people.
Yeah.
And but in that moment, it's both a personal moment, but also a moment for the gamer to realize that there's that what the radio is in the game, and what it's not just there to make to give these announcements. It's also there to as a kind of personal medium for Poe and Munro as well.
Yes, exactly. I love this game, if you can't already tell. Like, I love everything. Yeah, it's like, I love everything about it. Like I said, like, I wrote that review, like, on Steam. It's just like, my concerns are just, like, minor. It was just like very minor. And I think one of them had to do, like, the implementation of a skip button, which I noticed, like, in my most recent playthrough that popped up. There's a skip button that's now been like, oh, like, okay, cool.
And Wales Interactive are very good at doing that. They do listen to feedback and implement things very quickly. So, I mean, that was very quick, wasn't it? The turnaround on the skip button.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, well, because they want to replay it. And there are certain things that you have seen before, even though you find a lot of stuff that you haven't seen before. You want to skip through the things you've seen before to get to the stuff you haven't seen before. So there was a lot of demand for that. So I think that pleased a lot of people, which is cool.
We had the skip button all the way through test.
Yeah.
So we never even experienced it. Because obviously as we're developing it and testing it, it's like, end. Yeah, okay, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, skip. Why do I need to see this skip?
Obviously we wouldn't skip it, really.
Oh, okay.
All
Right.
But it was there.
But yeah, like, I can understand though, just on the editing side, it's just like you're very, like, overly familiar with it at that point, and even though you love your product, you love your game, you love what you created, there comes a time where you're just like, I'm done with looking at it, I want to set it aside now.
Yeah, definitely the opening sequence. That's one of my favourite ones to skip because it is quite long. The opening sequence, if you've seen it 100 times,
right?
So.
And that's just human. That's just human. Like, we don't want to listen to, like, ourselves over and over and over again, or like watch something 100 times in a row.
No, well, Shapeshift is totally replayable, isn't it? And I think that people should play it. I mean, people are playing it more than once for a good reason, because it does feel like it demands you to play it again, because there is so much missing from your first playthrough, and there's so much more to find. Whereas DEKKER, perhaps not as much changed in the second playthrough, potentially, as would do in Shapeshift.
Especially if you try to find
time.
all the stuff the first time, then there are some other things to find, but...
With Shapeshift, for sure, you just make the other choice, get a different video. So you get a lot more content on the next playthrough. So. And
there's quite a lot in Shapeshift that's hard to find, that you only get if you've said this to that person and then gone to see this person and then gone over there to someone else, and then you get this whole thing with Oscar or with Zach. So there's quite a lot of set pieces that you can unlock, but you need a certain combination of events to happen.
It's all about choices, isn't it? Yes. But there are some games where it doesn't even that make you think. You have those options. You have those that freedom, and then later it just goes back to how it would go anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's quite nice that in Shapeshift it's really, you make one decision at one point in the game, and then it leads you somewhere, and you would need to play again if you wanted to experience what would happen if you hadn't made that choice. So I think that's quite nice. But other games make you think you have that freedom, and they don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've all got choke points, I think. So points that you're going to visit like everyone's going to get the ending in Shapeshift if they're alive, where they meet people, but the people who say goodbye to them will have different things to say depending on choices they've made throughout the game. But it's a lot of work doing the choices matter stuff and all the different endings and things, because you're filming and you're creating a lot of content that necessarily some people are only going to play once, potentially, so they're just going to see the one version of it. And it's, again, interesting when you look at FMV games like, say, Her Story, where there is no branching. There is one set of videos that you can uncover with the with the keywords, and still a very immersive game for a lot of people. Plus it's BAFTA wins, obviously, and things like that. So it's not all about the branching either. I know there's a lot of, and I'm not saying that we're not doing branching in the next one. It's nice to have that choice and everything. Yeah, but they can just be done either way. I think what interests us about all these kind of things is it's how you can experiment with all different things. So that Shapeshift isn't a straight interactive film. It's not Late Shift, where it's more interactive movie, and you get one choice and you go onto a different island, as it were, and then you play those through and you keep moving like that. It's got this definite open middle section, hasn't it? A bit open worldy, where you can change into people and go and visit whoever you want, change into whoever you want, and do it in whatever order you want, and that will shape the path of your game. So it's nice that there's all these different ways of doing it, and I think we're going to be thinking as well about cool new ways of doing it as well, because it's more fun, isn't it?
We want to try new things.
We love innovating stuff, but murder mystery games always used to be fixed player for years and years and years and years, until about 4 or 5 years ago when we released Flexi Party, where it's now the murderer is random. Does that sound familiar? So the stuff that we've put into the murder mystery Flexi Party, those games, has come forward into our FMV games like Shapeshift and DEKKER. So, and it's only through kind of not thinking outside the box, but just trying to get a bit more creative with what's already there, that you come up with these new kind of mechanics and things, or a new combination of them. Just like
the delete button as well in the game, that you can delete a question.
Absolutely.
I think I mentioned that in our live stream as well a few weeks ago. That I'd never come across that before in a game. So that's this kind of innovating going on.
It's a very small thing, isn't it? But it probably made you think about the choice when you were making it, or what you were deleting or not deleting.
And it's not the same as just having a question with the delete button. Isn't the same as having two different questions.
Yeah, it leads to something else.
It definitely makes you think more.
But every time we try and do something innovative, we think there's a chance everyone's going to hate us. Like, everyone's going to hate us. Just 100% of people are going to hate us. So it's. But
that's the risk you've got to take sometimes. I mean, it's
we want to keep
taking take the risk. But I think, from what I can tell, at least from what I've from the feedback I've heard, that most people really enjoy that particular feature, for example. But you never know, of course, with features and new mechanics. When you're innovating something, you never know.
Yeah, here we are innovating the delete button.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, like, if you don't innovate and you just keep on making the same game, then you stagnate and then you just vanish into the night, never to be heard from again.
I mean, some people would like more of the same, though. Like, I've sunk hundreds of hours into Skyrim, and I'm happy for them just to release that again with new content in exactly the same way as it was before.
Yeah. Or at least I think we expect from the same people expect that they're going to be doing the same thing again. So you're kind of working against that as well, where how much are you going to be different from the last thing you did if it's been successful and if people have really liked it. So it's it's a bit of a slippery slope.
What does Brandykins think? Which game's better, DEKKER or Shapeshift?
You're terrible. Why are you asking me this question?
Put you on the spot.
Yo, no.
Let's do it mine, because we hear both ways, so there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay, it's just is this a test? Which do you like better? A, Dr. DEKKER. B, Shapeshifting Detective. C, all the above. D, all the I'm going to give the cop-out answer and just say that I like them both in each their own ways. So, Dr. Dekker, I really like the fact how it was just like constrained to one location. Some people didn't like the text-based UI. I was fine with it, especially like from a streaming aspect, because I could enter like and ask weird questions, and the actors would be like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I like Dr. Dekker for that aspect, and the Shapeshifting Detective, I like the fact that it was something different as far as going from location to location. I thought the story was really interesting. Of course, who wouldn't want to be a shape-shifting detective that could morph into other things and go like bug the chief like in his office multiple times, or like get punched in the face like by someone else who I won't mention, but he's over there. He's over there, but yeah. And also the delete button I really like, because I was just like, okay, then what choice will I be deleting? Will I be deleting a choice like that actually matters, or am I going to get a different path? Or sometimes I would delete the choice and like nothing would happen. It would just like say like leave. I'd be like come back, come back, I love you, come back, choice.
Like, it's nice with the choice. That's the cool thing about the delete button. It's sometimes you're happy you did that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh no, I want to go back. So it's not always. That's the thing. It's unexpected what will happen.
Exactly.
Which one did you find easier to play?
Easier to play, probably the Shapeshifting Detective, even though I guessed the murderer wrong twice, because Dr. Dekker still is just like, I would think that I like asked all the questions and it would still be like the amber like kind of icon right next to it. It's just like, but I asked everything. I want the green. Like what? But so it's first from like an easy kind of standpoint, the Shapeshifting Detective. But if I want like more of a challenge, of course, I would go to Dr. Dekker, because I like a good challenge.
Yeah.
So as a player, just So there's some days though where I want to just be like, look, I want to have fun and go like, get punched in the face like in a game. So I'll go to the Shapeshifting Detective. But then like some days I'll like want to like really put my mind into it and like think. Then I would go to Dr. Dekker.
Yeah. So that's fair. So you can like them both equally, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Very diplomatic.
It is not a cop-out answer.
Oh. Yeah. Well, sorry for setting you up there with the. It's just we like them both. Obviously, I'm not sure like you. I think that we prefer one more some days than the others. And sometimes when you pick a side between Dekker and Shapeshift, it feels like you're picking between the cast. Because you get involved with the characters.
Yes, just like exactly. Be like, why are you asking me to choose between like my children? Like, because they're like all my children. It's like, why are you doing this to me, Tim? Stop it.
No, we said the other day that we could quite easily probably make a Dr. Dekker 2 and a Shapeshift 2. If it came to it, we wouldn't hate either of those.
No, and I'm sure like your adoring audience wouldn't mind that either. But like only if it would like make sense. I mean, I hate sequels like just for the sake of sequels. So it's just like, well, here's a sequel. You're like, okay, why? It's
yeah. I mean, Shapeshift's probably got different patients for Dr. Dekker would obviously be a different story. Shapeshift feels like it's got more to explore because we're really stuck in just a few locations. So we can open it out to some more locations. We could still perhaps have Poe and Munro, or you've got something going on in the background and and things like that. But that won't be next anyway. We want to do something new again.
Yeah, so we will definitely be getting to that here in just a few minutes. I had a train of thought and now I completely lost it. I hate it when that happens.
That's what I do.
Ugh. It's just like, wait, what was I gonna ask you?
Rewind, see if it's back.
It's like, okay.
Delete the last.
Yeah.
Delete the last answer.
Yes. Okay. So when you said rewind, okay, that kind of like clicked in my head, like the train of thought that I had lost. I got it back now. All right. Like I love the little like Easter eggs sprinkled out throughout Shapeshifting Detective. Like the name of the radio was DEKKER. Like at the beginning of the game, there's a loop moment. Like if you make the wrong choice, just like how in DEKKER, there was also that loop moment with that Nathan. If I remember correctly, and also the contradiction Easter egg in there had me like, oh my god. I was just like, oh my god, Rupert. It's just like, and it's like, oh my god. Okay, you guys just have to experience it for yourself. But yeah, like if you haven't yet, well. Yes, he did. Yeah, you did. But it's nice, like all those little nods and winks that you give to your audience.
Yeah, well, we'll keep doing it. I think there'll be stuff in the next one as well. Because we enjoy playing the games. Some people who are making interactive films and FMV games perhaps aren't as, didn't play as much of the genre or whatever, but we're only making these games because we really enjoy playing those games. They're not the only games we play now. I've been playing games for years and years, but in terms of ever wanting to do one, it's always been an FMV game. We've always wanted FMV games. So all the way from Tex Murphy, and we had Chris Jones, and we had voiceover on Shapeshift. Big fan of Chris Jones and the Tex Murphy stuff. All the way up to present day.
Well, I was just going to say, do you know how cool it is to get Tex Murphy to read a story in your own game? That's when we heard that recording. Of the story we'd written, and we actually wrote that story for him because he said he'd do it.
One night.
We did it one night. Yeah. It was our wedding anniversary, and we spent the night writing the story together for Tex Murphy to read. So
that's actually really cute.
Yeah.
It came out really well. I thought Chris, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Again, we'd write for Tex Murphy any day. Just I'm putting it out there. So yeah, Matt Van Roonby emailing me next day. Did you really say that?
Yeah, it was revealed here on this podcast first. I get the distinct honor of saying that.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Because it was just like, hey, let's let your chat guess like what did like the mysterious, like not the mysterious voiceover, the news voiceover. So it said the Tex Murphy guy, and then Tim was like, yeah, like he almost like had to admit it, like yeah, it was him.
Yeah, and again, it's we got quite a good response. I think quite a few people knew Tex Murphy.
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
But not well, but again, today, more people. We probably got a bigger response by announcing like Jesse Cox doing a voiceover. So who plays a lot of FMV, but he's a big personality on his own. So it was great getting everybody together, including you, and because
and Lacey. Hi, Lacey.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely awesome. Everybody in it was in there for a reason, really. Either for being DEKKER fans or hanging out with us or whatever. So it was good to be able to get such diverse load of people together.
Yeah, just like Klemens was just talking about his experiences and how it was just like he had just a great time with it. I had a great time like with my voiceover as well because it fulfilled like a dream of mine to like be in a game in some way. So when I was asked, I was like, at first I was like, yes, and it was like, oh god, really? I'm gonna totally suck. Like, oh no, like what did I just agree to? But whenever I first like heard my voice, it was like surreal, and I was just like about like, this is beautiful. And then like when I heard myself a bunch of times, just like, no, I don't want to hear myself anymore. Skip. But it was,
we get like that with all the writing. So.
It was such an awesome experience.
You did it really well. It was really nice to have you in it.
It's great, isn't it? Because we didn't think we'd be doing these games either. and there haven't been a lot, have there, over the years? FMV games.
Yeah.
Like being able to get, pack a load of people in, to be credited in it was just really an opportunity too big to miss. But I think there's going to be an explosion. That's already starting. There's rumbling in terms of FMV and interactive films, or whatever they want to call themselves.
We're looking forward to be able to play more FMV games.
Yeah.
Yes.
We might want to play other people's FMV games.
We don't get to play our games, do we?
No. We can watch other people play. Well, we test them obviously loads, but that's not the same as playing them for the first time, as a player. So, the fact that there's going to be more FMV games coming out is cool, and that there's a market for it, and that there's, there is a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there who really enjoy FMV games. Now in 2018, constantly see these, on Twitter and things. Who's making FMV games in 2018? Well, lots of people are, and lots of people are playing them and enjoying them. So
I think that's a great desire now to see actual real actors again. Because people are maybe too fed up by seeing computer graphics all the time. So it's nice to actually see real people in a game again.
Everything goes in cycles, doesn't it? So.
Yes.
It's just another style of presentation, and there's such variety in the different styles of computer graphics you can have, and CGI or pixel art, or and FMV is just another way of presenting a game. But there is something, I don't know, there's something special about it. It's just real people.
Yeah,
you get to do things to them.
I get to mess up their lives.
Oh yeah, you get to mess up their lives.
I control the puppets now. No, that's terrible. Like the fake puppets. Yeah, dance. Da 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 da.
It is a bit like that though. Yeah. Especially direct to camera as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't often happen, does it? So.
I tried to think about the reasons is why I love FMV so much. I don't know. There's just a certain charm to it, as I mentioned before. It's just like I can't really describe why I love it so much. I just do, and I'm so glad that it's kind of making a resurgence and kind of cycling coming back. Like the first FMV game that really kind of caught my notice was Contradiction. And so it's like, I played through this, like, okay, cool, yeah, I dig it. But then I kind of thought it was just like a one-off thing and I would never see another one again. And then Dr. DEKKER came around and the rest is history.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. I think if it will take off hopefully, and we'll probably end up getting flattened as a studio. We might not only have a few more games left, but because if Hollywood comes in, big budgets. Well, if we start getting AAA FMVs and things like that, which kind of Quiet Man is getting near that kind of way, wasn't it? And obviously Late Shift cost millions to make. There's a good chance that we'll be sad, but it means there'll be a load of massive, big budget, high quality FMVs coming in that we can all play as well. So,
but there is a difference.
There's a lot of indie. There's always been a demand for indie productions, both in the gaming industry and in the film and TV industry as well. So you have the demand. So I think even
you
if
think we can keep going, do you?
Something as good as
we've thrown ourselves on the barbed wire. Everyone's just walking over us.
I don't think so. I really think there's kind of what you describe of having being creative because the budget because the limit of the budget. That is something that you. As an indie producer, you have that advantage that you can sometimes be more creative because you don't have to answer necessarily to the big demands of the AAA. So yeah. I think that can really play to your advantage.
You can experiment more probably.
Yeah, if you're spending more money, you've got a lot more to lose, and so you would do whatever the mass demands for, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thanks. It's a Christmas spirit.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's always going to be a market for, just like there's a market for AAA RPG games and indie RPG games, there's always going to be a market for the bigger budget FMVs. and then the indie FMVs. So I think that DEKKER Studios will not be flattened. You're always going to have a place in the gaming world for as long as y'all want to keep making games.
We'll keep making them as long as people want to keep playing them. Yeah. Unless we release a dud and then everyone go away. Stop making them.
No, just like if people chase you away, they're like, come back, Tim and Lynda, come back. I want you to keep making games.
But to be honest, you're such good writers. I mean, that's the basis for the game, for both games, DEKKER and Shapeshifting. It's the writing. I mean, without good writing, you have nothing. I mean, when as an actor, when I come in and get a script, and you can only do so much with a poor script. So as long as you keep writing as well as you guys have, then you're always going to get. You're always going to have a good chance of having a good end product, because that's the kind of the foundation of it is the writing.
Exactly.
We've tried to get away with it for many years now, so.
Oh man.
Tricks of the trading industry. No, we've been writing the murder mysteries for years and years, and I suppose it never dawned on us how much writing we were doing, because we were producing lots of other stuff at the same time, running lots of other things. But I've got a film left in me. I still want to do a film. There's going to be another film. I need to not make up for Backslasher, but I need to. Backslasher was great for its time and its budget, but you can't ever say that. That's the thing with filmmaking, is that, and a lot of things, even video games, saying that it was good for the budget, because it's difficult to say that, because it just needs to be good, and regardless of the budget.
Yes,
people aren't going to forgive you.
If as a viewer or gamer, as a consumer, if you don't even question that, if you have that experience the production, you don't really think about it, then that's a good thing, because you don't want them to necessarily think about how much something really costs to make. I mean, it's just about a good experience.
It's the smoke and mirrors, isn't it? That's why I like film, because it's all about what happens in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's all you have to worry about.
Don't have to see what's going on over there.
No, you don't have to see all the wildlife in the back. Just the front. Yeah. Just the front.
Well, you know a bunch of actors already.
No, I'd love to get some FMV, some people who've been in the FMVs back into a film, but I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be allowed to make a film again.
Right.
I don't know if we're ever going to have enough time to do these things. But
just got to churn out another F5 FMVs.
I'm a big horror film fan, Brandy. You'll be pleased to know, because the name of your podcast.
Yeah.
So, and Backslasher was a horror, and I definitely want to do another horror film for sure.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I'm already preemptively excited about that for whenever that comes into play. Okay.
The next FMV is going to be slightly more horror, I think.
Pocket Dreadfuls. Klemens, have you managed to work your way into that game yet? Have you been please let me be in that game?
Where's the? Oh, I've just been to the kitchen and go. Well, where's my shapeshift mug? Okay. No, but, we'll see. But I'd love to work with Lynda, Tim again. It was such a great experience. So.
We're way off casting at the moment. We're
we're not casting anybody.
Early development, but
we'd like to have some people back for sure. And also we love casting as well. So I mean, in DEKKER I think we had 100 or so, maybe 140 or so people cast for it. And in Shapeshift it was over. I keep saying
closer to 700.
Yeah, 650 or more people. So. Although it's a lot of people to see, it's cool being able to see all these characters brought to life by different people and their kind of interpretations of it. And it does it make our job easier? Possibly. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if just one person turned up and said, "I want to be Mariana," then that's it. You're Mariana. Well done, cast. Yeah. But we enjoy
it's-
that
Yeah,
part of it
I really
as well.
love casting because just when someone does it and you're like, that's so cool. Yeah, we want that person. And
I mean,
in the game.
Klemens was
Yeah.
very
Awesome.
almost in Dr. Dekker.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I auditioned for that. Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I didn't know
He
that.
made a very short list.
made a very, very short
He
list,
did,
yeah.
He was almost in Dekker.
I could have seen him in Dr. Dekker.
and was that? It was for Bryce, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about the casting process is looking at it from your angle is you sometimes you have something in mind for a role as a producer or casting director, you have something in mind, and then you sometimes have one actor who gives you exactly what you had in mind, but then another actor gives you something different which you hadn't expected, and perhaps then
Yeah.
you go, oh wait
Yeah.
a minute, I didn't expect that. To that kind of interpretation, and you change your mind about the kind of actor you want for the role. So that happens all the time. Sometimes as an actor, you can be at the receiving end of that, or you can benefit from that but that's the process. Ideally, it's a kind of that openness where sometimes you do something different in an audition, and then you still sometimes get hired because it surprises the people who.
Yeah, no, but you stand out more as well.
You see a lot of auditions and people are doing the same type of delivery, and that's often like the one you've got in your head as a writer. It's sort of what's clearly on the page, but then if you get an actor that comes along and gives you more than that, more nuance, more subtlety, or something bigger, something riskier, that's really cool.
I mean, Millen
Thomas.
who played Bryce. It was actually the first audition we received.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah, for Dekker for the part of Bryce, and although you got onto a list that wasn't very big because we thought I mean, I don't know if you saw much of Bryce in the end in Dr. Dekker, but the way that Millen managed to play it, he was verging on insane there, and it wasn't overcooked, in my opinion. I thought that he did it really well.
Based on the audition, and you said, "Oh, I really like that guy. I think he does it really well." And I was like, I think it's maybe a bit too much. It's like, but then
it's about taking a
looked at it
chance.
again and water. Yeah.
And also you got a group, so you need to
you have to
ensemble
cast for the.
So you can't have two people who look the same.
Absolutely.
No.
It's got to work with it's got to be the chemistry has to work, both the anticipated chemistry, because you don't know when you have FMV, you often don't have the people there at the same time, so it's just the chemistry with the camera. So yeah, but yeah, I mean that's when there's a limited cast, there's hundreds of people auditioning. I mean, it's as an actor, when people ask me, oh, okay, isn't that really such a disheartening thing sometimes to not get cast? But then every casting is an experience, because you learn something from it, and you just have to kind of embrace that process. You can't just there can't be any hard feelings about any particular project. So.
And if you don't keep doing it, then you won't get any roles, I suppose. So you have to keep doing it. But it can be. I mean, for us as well, casting it can be an agonising decision sometimes, because it seems like such a big thing. Who is going to play these people? Because the acting is, they are the characters on screen, and the players are going to spend so much time with them. It feels like such a major decision to make. A lot of pressure.
We love seeing actors who we feel possibly aren't as they don't make the grade straight away, because we can move on really quickly.
That makes it easier.
When people are pretty good at what they're doing, you've got to really
the ones where it's
think
not
about
an agonising decision. Like,
I mean, and there aren't that many, to be honest. As in, even at all the auditions we got, there's still pretty good level of ability, I think, throughout.
Yeah.
So it's only very few where you think, oof, okay, no, maybe not. That's, but again, we're saying that as producers or casting directors even, then it may be they were making a choice and it just wasn't the one we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't act or anything like that, but just for that particular role, we weren't happy with it. We don't often look at it and go, that was awful, let's have a look at their show reel. Yeah.
Why bother?
Because that was awful. You look at the show and go, they're amazing. What'd they do that for? It's because you don't have the time. So.
Right. I would not envy being in your position, having to pick from like 700 different applications, audition tapes. No.
Yeah.
I would be.
It's a really enjoyable part. It's also really intense because we're trying to do it. For Shapeshift, we had less than a month to cast, I think.
Ooh.
We're putting out the casting call to actually, we're going to have to send out the scripts. It was less than a month, and that was really intense to obviously get through that number of applicants and really be able to give it a lot of consideration. But it's a part I really enjoy.
And there was no secret handshake either.
Yeah.
There's no quick way in. No, I mean everyone auditioned apart from Ashlyn this time because we announced so early, and we'd already said about redheads being killed off, and we thought, okay, well, it's kind of.
Do we know any redheads?
Do we know any?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, we were worried about about Mariana and being able to kind of do a second character for Ashlyn that people weren't going to say.
Not her performing it, us writing it.
Yeah, that the character wasn't as good as Mariana, or
because people love Mariana, and we didn't want to sort of break it for Ashley.
So now that Klemens has been Poe, if we write another role for Klemens that isn't Poe and he plays another role, we need to undo Poe and put back.
I like to stretch myself as an actor.
Yeah. So, but you see what? So it's kind of like one of those things where you are breaking people's perceptions of the previous character, and you're rewriting them, basically.
Right.
That's the thing. But the thing is, in terms of Poe, I'd love to be Poe again. But when it's a character you really enjoy, then it's obviously someone like the character like Poe. I can't wait. But with other characters, of course, it's once you've done a certain type of character, often I feel that the next project I want to do is really go against that, because it's obviously nice to have certain niches to be in as an actor, but once you are in those niches, you can it's nice to then sometimes go, all right, I'm going to do something, I'm going to surprise people, I'm going to surprise myself and do something completely different.
Like a Shakespearean FMV game, for example.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was Banquo in Macbeth last year. That was my last Shakespearean role. So, I wouldn't mind doing the FMV version of Banquo. Hint, hint.
Yeah. It's like, no man of woman born shall harm Macbeth. Okay, what will you choose? Do you want to tell him that prophecy is totally bogus, or do you want to or do you want to let him live in his own head, like his own fantasy world?
But I think there's a Shakespeare.
Yeah, people know the story though. So
Yeah. Yeah, I could kind of see the difficulties of that because Shakespeare's very very much linear, so it'd be very hard to do branching options off of that. Darn.
He's not around to write any of the other choices, is he?
Yeah, no.
It's a tough one.
Unfortunately, unless you build a time machine or something, go back.
You did say FMV musical the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do the time warp again.
We were thinking, if Richard O'Brien wouldn't mind knocking up a few branching endings for,
Rocky Horror,
then it's FMV.
Yeah, there you go.
I think Clemens going to be in Rocky Horror.
I was in a musical this year. I think I mentioned it. I was in a musical this year.
But not Rocky Horror.
No, not Rocky Horror. But I did a few horror films this year. But I did a musical called V for Victory.
Right.
in London. So so that was fun. Something. So again, I stretched myself. You know, I
You have
hadn't
been singing and
sung
dancing
in,
already,
hadn't
haven't
sung in
You've been
an
practicing.
introduction before. So
A man of many talents.
Triple threat.
but I'm not sure whether I can pull it off in an FMV. I don't know.
Yeah.
You get lots of takes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. That's right. Yeah, you get I think with the 100th take, I'll get the pitch and the.
No, Clemens, you're supposed to be saying, yes, I can definitely do that.
Yes.
I-
I can
Confidence.
read the lyrics off the teleprompter. That helps.
yeah.
Leah dances, doesn't she? Leah was a dancer.
Yeah.
Before, so yeah.
Well, there you go. You got like the musicians, you got the dancers. It's just like you've
I
already
love
got you got a head start there already.
And a whole new audience as well. You know, people who have never heard of FMV, they'd be like, "Wow."
Like, this is great. This is so great. Like now I have to have an FMV musical. Darn it.
We may do a musical number. We may. We don't know.
We may.
We may just for fun because everyone else gets to do one. Joss Whedon got to do one.
Yeah.
Why can't we?
Yeah.
Everyone does a music episode nowadays, don't they?
Everyone
I
has a
mean,
music episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta have, like, just let them have their one.
Just one.
This one.
Yeah.
Just think of it like Dr. Dekker,
Yeah.
one of the patients, just sings a lot.
That would be interesting.
And you have to ask your questions in rhyme to rhyme with their lyrics.
Yeah, there'd obviously be story written.
Yeah.
Oh, and like you want it.
To make it even more interactive, you have to sing your question into a
Yeah.
microphone.
Into the microphone, yeah. Don't give away all the secrets, Clemens.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah. Yeah.
Too many spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear my singing voice, so just no.
Sing style.
Yeah, I'll do like karaoke, but when it comes to like stuff like that, no.
Got to sing, dance. There's a lot of coordination required.
Yes, I don't have coordination. It's absolutely just like none. I will trip over myself.
I was in a musical. I was in Guys and Dolls. Yeah, I played Nathan Detroit in Guys and Dolls. So
How we met.
I know, it's how we met. Yeah, it's the Frank Sinatra part from the actual movie. But yeah, I can't really sing that well. But you know, Nathan Detroit didn't sing that well. Didn't need to in Guys and Dolls. But so yeah, I'm familiar with the odd musical.
Character.
So, well, unfortunately, I don't think Pocket Dreadfuls is going to be a musical or have like musical numbers in it, especially since it's more horror based. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to suddenly like drop a musical number like right into the middle of it. But I thought the title is what intrigued me at first. Pocket Dreadfuls. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it a play off of like the whole like Penny Dreadful magazines?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah, yes.
Affirmative. Yeah. No, well, that was, yeah, there's a series as well, isn't there, called Penny Dreadfuls, which we quite enjoyed, the kind of gothic
Yes.
horror stuff there. So, yeah, that it is inspired by that, in as much as one of the things we were thinking about was, and again, there's nothing set in stone yet, but was perhaps shorter experiences but more episodes of, so more stories but kind of
Possibly standalone, but linked or connected. Or
we got 2 or 3 ideas, but essentially it was to do as well with people's attention span and being able to commit so much time to games. If you sit down and you're in front of Netflix, for example, then, I mean, we do it all the time. How long is that? No. 20 minutes? Yeah, all right. 30 minutes? Yeah, all right. So you, like, I'm ready for a 40-minute show. What's it going to be? Oh, okay, I've got an hour. I can do an hour now, so what's it going to be? So, in a way, might be interesting if we could section it off a bit more and have them complete episodes, as it were, but perhaps They might still be relatively long TV type length episodes, but each one might be different. So a bit more. Because going back to DEKKER a bit as well, I think a lot of people like the different stories in DEKKER, and each patient had their own kind of weirdness, as it were. So for Pocket Dreadfuls, like you say, they're all kind of the old kind of horror magazines, books, cartoon things that they used to be. That they have a self-contained horror story that's going to reel you in and then spit you out again, and then you're into the next one.
And also, because obviously one of the things with games is sometimes you start playing it and you get to a certain point, you haven't been playing it for very long, you're like, I know what this game's going to be, you know. So we don't want people to get bored, and as one of the things with DEKKER, at the end of Act 1 we put in the Nathan
straight away
thing to say, no, you don't know what this game's going to be. It's going to be a bit weird. Strange things are going to happen. So with the episodic thing with the Pocket Dreadfuls, there is an opportunity for us to mix it up a bit more.
Different locations.
Yeah.
Change the style even.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah.
That one's done.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in the next?
I mean, we had dream sequences in DEKKER, things like that. So all sorts of weird and wonderful things that we could let ourselves run riot with, basically. So.
Fun things.
But more in tone. I think we desperately want to be darker in tone. I don't know why. I think really, you know, in many ways, Shapeshift was going to be darker, and it didn't really turn out as dark as we wanted it to be, I think. But it was quite dark still, but it wasn't really DEKKER dark in terms of mood for the whole thing. It was a little bit more upbeat, I think, Shapeshift, and possibly appealed to more people because of it. Because I mean, some people maybe don't like horror kind of themes, or you know, Cthulhu's even getting a bit of a panning lately, isn't it? Even Cthulhu can't show his face that much, so there's been a bit of a backlash about Cthulhu games and Lovecraft-inspired games. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially Shapeshift's come out. It's done pretty well. We don't know exactly how well it's done, because this is one of the fun things you can get when you have a publisher. You can guess the sales. Yeah, we know some of the sales figures, and we think we're probably on the same kind of track in terms of we'll probably be able to make about the same as we did with Dr. DEKKER in terms of return, which is okay. Not great, because we spent 4 times as much on this than Dr. DEKKER. So for the next time around, we think, you know, we want to have fun. We want to have fun, and we want you to have fun. And the money doesn't, you know, whether the money happens or not doesn't really matter, because it possibly won't again. But so let's have some, you know, we want to have more fun. We want everyone to have more fun. So we just end up. Pocket Dreadfuls gives us this kind of vehicle that we can do lots of different things in. But there'll definitely be common threads. Yeah. We definitely have a new, let's call it a delete button. It's not a delete button, but it's a new thing that will be very cool. It won't be hard to use, but it'll be very cool. And you won't necessarily see it before in FMV games, but it will turn it on its head a little bit. It'll be nice. It'll allow us to do different things. It's really bad, isn't it? I can't say it, but it's that bit alone. This kind of mechanic that we're thinking that will go in it is going to make it pretty cool.
It's got me so excited, like already, like just hearing about it.
You know, write it already.
Yeah, no, it needs to. Every time we write something, we want it to be better than the last thing we did anyway. But so I think that in DEKKER we had stories that were deep, because you had 6 characters and you could just ask them the questions, so the stories are really deep. In Shapeshift we say the stories are really wide, because they're kind of shorter really, because you have lots of different people asking about the same story. So we shot a lot of video still, but you can't get the depth that you could with DEKKER with just 6 characters answering questions. So we're definitely returning to depth for Pocket Dreadfuls. Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. So it's definitely going to be fun. And hopefully we can get it all done and produced out next year again, as soon as we can. But we've got a few murder mystery games that we kind of need to write, because need to keep that plate spinning. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
Shapeshifting Detective is such a quick turnaround. I mean, I was so amazed at how quickly. I mean, casting, filming, post-production, then releasing it in the same year. That's not easy. I mean, it's just, I don't envy you to do everything in the same year.
We're full time. We're working it full time, so it's not as hard as it sounds. I mean, it is. I know it's still a short length of time, but a lot of indie developers will have day jobs, and they're having to do their games at night or at weekends or in their spare time as well. So, you know, if I was an indie developer with a day job and I had to do DEKKER or Shapeshift, then those games are going to take 3 years. Yeah, because they don't have the time. Because we don't have the time.
But yeah, that's kind of. It's exciting to like hear about like all the new stuff that DEKKER Studios has in the works. And Klemens, anything new for you? Well, obviously there's going to be new stuff for you coming up. That's kind of a silly question, but anything that you can share, Ashley?
Well, I worked on, just like the musical I mentioned earlier, that one is still being developed to be brought back to the stage next year in London. And I've this year, there's 2 other stage productions that I worked on this year, and in both of them I played Sigmund Freud. But they were really different writers, different teams, but they're also, both of them, supposed to be brought back again for 2019. So there's basically 3 stage productions. I'm not much of a stage actor anyway. So it's quite different for me as well, because I mostly do voice work and screen work. But it's quite exciting to know that there's going to be 3 stage shows next year that are returning, and they're still being kind of tweaked and developed. So that's So that's happening next year. And of course, hopefully, more games and some films as well.
Do you like the stage? Do you like the stage? Sorry.
I do.
I ask a lot of actors, and they say they prefer the stage. It's like their favourite thing is to do stage.
I mean, some actors obviously they start in the industry, and that's what they do. But I've always enjoyed the variety. So for me, it's I've never wanted to just be in one medium. But I do enjoy it. It's a different process. It's a different experience. But I do enjoy it. But I think my true passion is in front of the camera, and in games as well, the voice work in games. But I enjoy it all.
Yay! We have now broken the record for the longest podcast episode of Terrorific Talk. Da, 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 da. So now, another milestone for the podcast. It's been awesome. So I say that this would be a good spot to start winding down and taking some last questions from people in chat. So let me go back up.
Is anybody still there?
Yeah, Ashley.
We salute you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys in chat so much for, if you've been here the entire, whether you just popped in, whether you've been here for the entire 2 hours, just wow. I'm surprised that your butts are not numb yet. But thank you so much for watching the podcast, especially if you've been here the entire 2 hours. Wow. We salute you. Hey, yes, but that's what a podcast is for, right? A silent podcast would be kind of strange.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, just textually input your questions like a Dr. DEKKER.
I think it should be lots of looks.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to film as well. Those kind of in between, those bits when the bits when you're not asking a question. So those
Yeah.
The comedy ways kind of stroke my beard.
Yeah.
Drumming fingers.
Yeah, stroke my beard and raise my brow. And like,
There's my
yeah.
hand sometimes as well, doing the stroking.
Roger Moore.
Oh my
You promised
goodness.
Clemens you wouldn't talk about that.
Yeah, shh. Yeah, you promised you'd never speak of that again. And let me go back up and like see if okay, that question's been answered. My chat was kind of acting up like for a little bit. Okay, Tiana Studios like had a comment before their question, but they said no, DEKKER won't get flattened. Not with your guys' style of storytelling. You've got a huge following, guys. They wanted to make sure that they pointed that out, and yeah, definitely true.
Tiana are making their own game, yeah. So they're also making the FMV game.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
July, I think.
We get to play that one.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yes, and I get to have them on my podcast as well, like closer to the game's release. So that's in the works. Spoiler alert for people who don't know.
Cool.
So that is exciting. Like I'll just have all the FMV like developers, like every single one of them, just like on my podcast at some point, like more than once, probably. Yes. And
You have to rename it the FMV podcast.
Yeah, so FMV hour, or more than like FMV like 5 hour. No, God, I don't know. I could like, yes, it's a branching podcast. Oh, Tiana Studios is asking everybody your favorite horror movies, if you have one, or more than one.
I would say Don't Look Now is certainly one of my favorites. You know, the director who made Don't Look Now with Don Sutherland and Julie Christie, he died recently, Nicholas Roeg. But his body of work is amazing. But certainly from all his movies, it would be Don't Look Now, which is very intense film, very poetic as well. But yeah, I can recommend it. But it's very dark and intense. But
Really?
I really like it. But yeah, and of course films that are inspired or based on Edgar Allan Poe.
Of course.
Because that's Roger Corman is one of my favorites, and when I saw the visuals that you guys made for our radio broadcast, the colors, and that reminded me a lot of Roger Corman. So, it was like a 1960s Gothic horror film director.
All right, Tim and Lynda, any favorite horror films?
Well, Tim's the real horror buff, and I mean, I think I watched Hellraiser far too young, which probably put me off horror films quite a bit. But yeah.
I watched Alien. I think that's probably the first when I was too young. I watched Alien, and I thought, oh, this is just a movie about being in space. So yeah, that was quite good. But Kubrick, Shining. If I'm going to go old school,
I do like Shining.
I like the thing is, I love films like that. So Shining is one of my favourite films, and then you get all this stuff come out about what Kubrick treated his actors and I wish I could unhear it all, but I do. I like the Shining old school and Scream. Scream. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I like the writing. I thought Kevin Williamson did good. So Scream, when it had all its in jokes about the horror genre and the slasher, the way that slashers worked. I thought it was quite clever in the way that it looked in on itself. So, and then more recently, what's the last horror we watched? Get Out. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of like that wasn't the last one.
No.
What's the last one I watched?
Oh, I don't know, but that was a while ago. Get Out.
No, I think that was the last one I watched.
I'll check my list.
Yeah. We normally watch dodgy romantic comedies and things, so it's
Doesn't Get Out start like a romantic comedy, and then it turns dark?
Yeah.
I thought this was a romantic comedy.
Oh, yes.
We watch a lot of TV actually, so we probably see
Yeah, things like Penny Dreadfuls.
Hannibal we were watching. What was the recent horror TV thing we were watching? I can't remember.
Sabrina.
No.
We have watched some of that.
Yeah.
We watch a lot of the horror TV series, actually. A lot of the horror TV series.
Oh, we are part way through Haunted of Hill House because everyone says that
Yeah,
it's
that
really
seems
good and you have to
pretty
watch it. Yeah, and we're about 3 or 4 episodes into that, I think. And they're right, so.
But Buffy Angel, kind of classic kind of horror, even though the matinee horror, sort of saying. But yeah.
Yeah, my first experience was Hellraiser, like far too young, like Lynda. But fortunately that didn't turn me off of horror completely, so I'm happy for that.
What's your favourite film?
The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The original one.
Yes. Let's see. The one he made in 1982. Who Goes There? Basically, I know is based off of John W. Campbell's novella "Who Goes There." I haven't seen the one made in the 50s. So if we're talking like original, that's
based on it.
that would have to be like my absolute favorite, just because the whole, again, the constricted setting, the isolation that the characters experience, and the fact how the enemy is unknown. That's like the scariest thing to me about that movie.
Yeah, it's a common thing, isn't it, in horror? The isolation and gotta get them alone.
Yes. Alright, so it looks like there's one last question directed towards the editing and coding process of Shapeshift. How long did that take? So the editing and the coding process for the game, like all told, from start to finish, how long did that take?
I mean, the coding was part and parcel of the writing in a lot of ways, because a lot of it went into the ink file with the variables and the branching, and this leads to that, and this video is going to play.
Wales did the front end interface. I mean, they started on it and finished it in a couple of months, but I don't know how much time they actually spent on it, whether that was flat out kind of full days in Unity. So they pulled it all together in Unity, and that must take them a couple of months. The scripts took about 4 months to write. But yeah, it's hard to dissect that from so put them together, say the coding was maybe 4 months, and then the editing was about 2 months for 2 people. So we're talking 2 people the whole time. So yeah, there was a lot of editing.
Yeah, the writing probably wasn't.
The writing might not have taken 4 months if we didn't do 4 rewrites.
Yeah.
But it did take 4 months.
Oh, so like a month per rewrite on average.
The very first version, you should have seen it. I mean, I think we still got it somewhere, but if you could imagine going around asking everybody the same question multiple times as all the other characters, it was pretty boring. And we thought, this isn't going to work.
This sucks.
So, although, we looked at the topic-based system for contradiction, So in contradiction, it was topic-based, wasn't it? And you had a topic, and then you went and asked everybody the same topic. So we looked at that, and we thought, that's cool. Maybe we could work something with that. But then when you shapeshift into 9 people and ask the same topic and get the same answer, not as fun. Not as fun.
No, that would.
Surprising.
Well, hey, like all ideas have to start somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was a bit of hacking around, wasn't there, with the early script, and there's still parts in the script that are like where it says Act 5, but really that was Act 3 because we hacked out loads of parts.
But they don't take that long to code, is the bottom line. I don't think they are, even DEKKER, the thing that took the longest in DEKKER was the keyword associations, not the actual coding. The coding is essentially is a bit of a video player, if we're being honest. Yeah, because it needs to play videos mainly. So it depends if you've got anything else going on. Yeah, so for interactive film, you've got a button on the screen, you press it takes you somewhere else. If you've got ink doing all the data, then it's playing videos back to back. A lot of the actual data coding, in terms of have you annoyed Violet enough to get one of her cutscenes, that was done in the ink. So again, the front end didn't deal with any of that. And for DEKKER, the front end again just played videos that we were queuing up from the data in the back end. So you split them apart. I should imagine like anybody who's done a 2D platform game has probably spent a lot more time coding than we've had to.
But not as much time filming.
But not as much time filming or editing, probably. But again, traditional games take ages, don't they? They've got all the artwork and all the, still got all that other stuff. So I mean, I'm saying we get it. I think we get it easy, or we can do, or at least we can concentrate more on the filming and the editing.
You get this kind of artwork here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you get the human face and the human form. Like, what more beautiful artwork is that?
Exactly. It's the best. We get those reviews all the time. Best graphics, like lifelike graphics.
Yeah, it's like, these are so lifelike. How did you do it? It's like, well, let's see. We auditioned like real actors, and we used like.
Yeah, everything you see, we animated. It might look like Klemens, but that was mocap, and then billions of dollars went into that just to make him look like Klemens again.
Mocap is a lot of fun. I mean, I've done a bit, but it's a lot of fun. So I don't mind. I don't mind being mocapped, and then I do the voice. I don't mind at all.
Okay, Tayana Studio says, great answers. Thanks. Like, well, great questions. Like, from you and
Good
from
luck,
Yeah, like from you and from everybody else, like in chat, just like excellent questions. And so thank you to my chat for hanging out in the podcast for now almost like 2.5 hours. Yeah, we definitely broken like the record there. Yes.
We never overproduce. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, of course not. Of course not. And so, and then to Tim and Lynda and Klemens, once again, thank you for taking almost 2.5 hours out of your evening to come on Terrorific Talk and talk some Shapeshifting Detective with me and what's coming next for you all. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Thomas. And Linda's first video appearance, so.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Yep, I was able to get her. I got her
Show
on.
my face.
Yes. It's just like, no, it was just like, it would just have been like a blank square, just like all you hear was her voice.
Slightly squared out. They kind of, because security footage.
Or just like a stick image.
Yeah. And puppet.
Yeah.
They all said, were they going to act with a tennis ball and a stick? So we're just going to do it in post. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Tennis ball on a stick. You said about, do we act in our own game? Would we act in our own game? I could be a tennis ball on a stick. I think we could do that.
There you go.
She's trying to round us up now.
Yeah, no, sorry. Carry on.
That's okay. Just like I was about ready to ask, any parting words?
Thank you for playing our games.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for playing our games. We hope that you keep doing that, and we hope that we keep making good enough games for you to spend your time on. And thank you for having us here to talk about them. And Klemens, thanks to turn up. None of the actors get paid for these appearances or anything.
I really enjoyed myself.
Even biscuits.
Oh, good. I'm so
I
glad.
can send them a biscuit. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll pay you all with my love and admiration.
We'll take it.
There we go.
Precious materials, yeah.
Okay, and to all of the chat and the community out there, stay terrific, everybody, and I will catch you again soon. So, bye, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.